Hey folks, do you have a Johnson or Evinrude outboard, an earlier model V4, V6 that has a primer choke on it like this right here? Well, I'm going to show you how you can very quickly, simply, and cost effectively rebuild this little primer choke and get your boat up and running, saving you a lot of money. Okay, so what we're talking about early model Johnson and Evinrude V6 and V4 engines that had what we call a primer choke. And what this thing does is it has a place for the fuel to come in with two lines that go to your carburetors. And this is how you prime when you push your key in to start your engine. This is a solenoid and it works a rubber that releases the fluid in here. Now the reason they have this with this little red valve on top is because if your choke should fail and you need to start it and you need to choke your engine because your battery might be dead or something like that, is by simply priming up your valve and turning this valve, this will automatically choke your engine for you. But what usually happens is that these things will crack over time. If you look at this little red valve on this one right here, you can see there's a crack and that leaks gas, or the gasket that's in here. There's a gasket on that. If you can see this one, there's a gasket right there that will leak. It's very simple to replace this. Now this is what you're going to be looking for on the V4 models. This is the inner housing of the air breather, that goes on your engine, and you'll find in most circumstances you'll find this primer choke right here on top. And this is where what you're going to want to remove. It simply removes with 2 bolts and 3 fuel lines. Now I want to show you a trick on the fuel lines because these can be pretty tricky, and you can break these little plastic things, and if you break them you're in trouble. Now on 3-cylinder and 2-cylinder engines, they're usually bolted onto the motor, so you'll just have to look around and try to find your choke. So let me put this aside right here, and what I want to show you is, if I can find it, so what I want to show you is how easy it is to remove these rubber lines. Now this rubber line right here, the big ones usually come off really easy, but the little ones are what you need to be careful of. So not being around any gas, I just use a little torch and with a little bit of heat, and then I'll just heat this line up very carefully, a little bit, not too much heat, until it becomes pliable. And then that thing will twist. And when that thing will twist, then you can take a screwdriver and just very easily put it underneath that rubber line and just pop it right off, okay? That way you don't damage these. Now, most kits, this here is a Sierra 18-7044 kit, and it's going to come with this valve body. So you'll have that valve body if it should break. It's going to come with a new valve, all right, and it's also going to come with your diaphragm gasket and a set of instructions. So if I can get it out of here, there, and you're going to have a really neat little piece of paper with instructions, very easy to follow, that's going to show you how to put this primer choke back together, okay? This is also, they call this also a service maintenance valve. The reason being is if you put your boat motor up for a while, you unscrew this, and this is just like a little valve that you would find on a tire. And they have a, I think I have one here. No, I don't. It's in the other part of the garage. But there's you buy a can of an oil mixture, and it screws onto here, and you can inject oil, fine mist of oil, into your engine to fog it, to put your engine up for the winter. All right, let's go ahead, and I'm going to show you real quickly how easy it is to rebuild this unit right here, this primer choke. I've always just called them a primer choke, but just remember they can also call them a service maintenance valve. So let's go ahead and I'll show you how to take this apart and reassemble it. Okay, so what we are going to do next is got to get our parts out, make sure we don't mix them up. If you don't need to replace this, I don't know. I guess if you got all this stuff new, you might as well go ahead and replace it. It comes with an extra diaphragm already on it, and I would just take that off take that and leave that right on there. Just this is how it's going to go together, okay, folks? So what you need to do is you're going to want to take these 4 screws off right here, okay? And they're very easy. It's in plastic, and when you put it back together, just don't tighten them up too much. So we're going to take these 4 screws off here really quick. All right, and then that pops right off, okay? And then you're going to pull this black diaphragm off out of there, being careful not to break the little primer pump. There's a little nipple on there, if you can see that. You don't want to break that. Now basically what you're going to do is you're just going to put this back on here the way it came off. You're going to put that on there, that diaphragm, like so. Now what you need to do next before you put this on is you need to put your valve on. Okay, so you're going to want to put your valve in here next, and that just goes in, just twist it until it falls down into place, okay? Then you're going to go ahead and replace this back on, and you're going to turn around then and take and put your screws back in. And remember, do not use a big heavy-duty screw. Okay, so now you've got that done. The only other thing you need to do is take your little valve cap and put that back on there. I've serviced so many engines where they lose them and don't put them on, but I like to put them on because if you don't, you're apt to get some dirt in there and certain things, and then that will clog the valve and keep it open. So just go ahead and put that back on real quick. Now basically this is ready to put back on the boat. You've got your black wire, which is the ground, and you've also got a violet or purple wire, and that plugs right directly into your choke. Okay? And it wants to be set just like this when it's in the running mode on your boat. Now all you need to do is take it and put it back on your plate. Let me get this plate here for you. You're going to mount it back on your carburetor plate just the way it came off with your 2 screws. Your ground wire is going to go right there, and a lot of times this wire will hook with your other wire for your choke wire on here. Like you can see this one here. Let me turn this around. It has a screw right there, and that's because there's another wire that comes in from the key switch and just screws to that. Now the only difference is that sometimes they don't have the service valve connection on these. All they have is just a plain one of these right here. They're both the same, they do the same thing, except with this one right here, you can fog your engine. So that's the only difference. Now basically that's it, and this unit now is ready to go back onto the boat. And before you want to check things over, pump up your bulb and make sure you don't have any leaks around your gasket, or you don't have any leaks around where your O-ring goes on right here. Put this back on your boat and you're ready to go. Alright, so anyways, I hope I explained everything to you. If I didn't, please message me, send me a message, and I will explain something if it doesn't seem right to you, or if I forgot something. But as you can see, this is a very, very simple repair. You don't have to. Only thing you got to work on is just taking them 3 tubes off, and they come off very easily, and then you can put them back on and get your boat back in operation real quick. Make sure you don't have any gas leaks at all when you pump up the bulb, because if you do, with your cowling on the motor, it can start a fire and possibly even explosion. So you want to make sure you don't have any gas leaks. This little valve right here will cause your motor not to start should it be leaking or cracked, because it's not going to get gas into the carburetors to start the motor. Another thing you can listen for is when you push the key in, you should be able to hear this click. Very low, it's a low click, but you should be able to hear it click. So if you're pushing your key in, you've either got one of 3 problems. You've got your key switch could be bad on your choke. You could have a bad wire from the choke switch or the choke position on the key switch, a bad wire to the valve, or the solenoid itself could be bad. So them are the 3 things you're going to want to check. I hope this video was able to help you, and I hope it will help you repair your boat engine, and I hope it'll save you some time and money from having to haul your boat to the place to get it repaired, and I know it'll save you some money. If you replace this whole unit here, the least I've seen them sell for is around 30 bucks. And I've seen them go up as far as $60. So you may want to think about getting you a little $15 to $20 kit off from Amazon or eBay and rebuild this. It will save you a lot of money in the long run. Alright, I hope you enjoyed this video. Remember, send us a message if you have any questions. Also, please like, share, and subscribe to our channel. I'm Jim, and we'll catch you in the next video.